Yo, YouTube. Hey, man, it's the same day as I just recorded, or I guess it's past midnight now, as this past video. But honestly, I was journaling. I just picked up this journal today. I was running some errands and I decided to pick up a journal. And right before I was about to write, I just felt mad inspired to record a video just talking about how simple everything really is and just how dialed you need to be in on one thing, just focusing on one thing and just like literally being like autistically focused, bro. Like in a way where, bro, with ecom, like I'm realizing that there's so many things that you can get distracted by, right? Like by like the product, the ad format, um, the prompts, like I was talking about earlier today. Just so many things you can get distracted by in the whole process of everything. Because at the end of the day, you're running a real business and there's so many different things that go on in the business and there's so many different ways to run the business. But the number one skill, no matter what, like, or the number one thing you need to be focused on if you're anywhere from like 0 to 1K a day, whatever it is, no matter what, is just going to be the marketing, right? I was writing down earlier today. So, for each of like my goals that I have in this like quarter two, business wise and outside of the business. So I wrote down the goal and then the inputs that I need to be putting in every day or every week to be able to reach that goal, right? And I was looking through it. And for me to get to a 1K a day or scale my brand up to 100K months, I put 5 batches of ads per week minimum. Ideally, I want to be shooting for like 7, but um, 5 I say is a good like range you want to be within. 5 batches at least a week. Uh, Performing feedback loops. I'm gonna make a whole video on feedback loops one day and just how important feedback loops are when it comes to making ads. Studying 1 to 2 winning ads per day. My swipe file right now only has 4 ads in it, and those 4 ads already have made such a difference in how I write my ads and how I view ads. Before I was focusing on a lot of like these technical things when writing my ads. And now after reading those couple of ads, I'm understanding how important it is to just understand who your avatar is. Um, sure, you need to be getting all these things in, but what I'm really noticing is that some of these ads to me don't really seem that great. But these are ads that have been running for over a month for these brands, 2, 3, 4 months for these brands that are doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. So clearly they're doing something right in these ads, right? So making it just like something mandatory for me to do is studying 1 to 2 winning ads, if not more, per day. Doing learnings on those so that when I'm making my ads moving forward, they can be better, right? Reading breakthrough advertising. I want to try and read at least like 5 to 10 pages of breakthrough advertising per day because I started reading it maybe a month ago and I read through like the first maybe 30 pages of it, 20, 30 pages of it. And already, like, looking at that and then looking at some of just like the information I've consumed over the past couple of months or how since I really started doing ecom and focusing on direct response, so much, basically everything comes from that book, bro. And if I can really understand that book, take notes on it, reread it as many times as it takes, whatever it is, to make my ads better, I'm gonna be printing winning ads in soon enough. And then the last one I put was research plus high intent. And what I mean by that is just before I upload any ad, I'm making sure there's really like research that backs this ad and just makes this ad as good as possible. And then moving with high intent. Something I'm kind of moving away from is using AI to come up with the ideas for like my angles or like just stuff like when it comes mostly just for the angles and like the desires as well. Those I'm basically just coming up with manually by myself through just doing basic research on my avatar and everything like that. But the main point I want to get across is that I was doing that and I'm looking at like, okay, this is what it takes for me to reach my goals, right? And I realized like that's all it takes. You know what I mean? Like that sounded like a lot that took me 3, 4 minutes to explain. But all I really need to do is be intentional with the ads I upload, study winning ads so I know what winning ads look like, right? a beginner has no clue what a winning ad looks like. I can show them two ads, one being complete dog shit, the other one being amazing, and they won't be able to tell which is the difference. You know what I mean? Which one's better or worse? Because, AI is gonna, whatever it is, generate similar shit all the time, right? So if whenever I'm making my ads or studying these ads and then I'm applying those to my ads, I'm noticing like, wow, okay, this ad does a good job of doing this. I need that in my ads, right? Especially if I'm studying competitors that are similar to my product, right? Or similar to my niche avatar, whatever it is. I'm understanding like, okay, this is like good customer language that I should be including. Or, this is how they're, building authority or building urgency in their ads by doing this, whatever it is, right? I'm just taking, I don't even know how to explain. I just need to be more of a student of the game. Like, if I just focus on ads, then everything else can come later, right? You can focus on emails and fucking whatever it is, all the other stuff, right? Everybody says like a good marketer can make any product work. I think I saw Mark Builds Brands talking about this somewhere where like one of his like copywriter friends, his first three products that he tested were all winners, like off the jump, just because of how good of a copywriter he is, right? So if I get to that level of just being a good marketer, obviously good products make it easier to do good marketing. But regardless, one, I have a good product that I'm running right now. Two, um, it's way more important if I can just nail down making ads, learning how to be better at copywriting, just better at that skill of making ads, then everything else comes later, right? Then at that point, I can take any product to the moon. At that point, I can focus on all the back end stuff later. Like my focus should be like 95% ads and then like 5% the back end stuff, like, making my website look a little better, back end stuff, customer support stuff, blah, 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 whatever it is. That's like the 5%, bro. But it really is that simple. Is just get better at ads. Like, bro, one of the brands that I was doing some research on for my swipe file, literally, obviously, SimilarWeb is not 100% accurate, but January 0 visits, February like 30,000 visits or something, and then March it jumped up to like 100 something, like 150, 200K monthly visits. They scaled up that quick. I can guarantee you the people who scaled, that person who scaled up that brand, all they focused on for that first, however, whatever it is, month, 2 months, whatever it is just ads, right? Then you can focus on everything else. As long as you have a decent product page, which if 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 you've been doing ecom long enough, like a product page doesn't take that long to make, and it's not that hard to make either. And then if you just copy your competitor's offer or whatever it is, if you're selling a supplement, right, it's like buy one, buy two, get one free, buy three, get two free, right? Just taking already proven winning offers, whatever it is, get rid of those variables to begin with as soon as you can. Obviously, with certain products, maybe you might need to test different offers, whatever it is, I don't know. But generally speaking, take a proven offer and then get some sort of inspiration from your product page, whether it's in your niche or from your competitor, whatever it is you have to do, so you can get rid of those variables and just focus 100% on ads. You focus 100% on ads, that's gonna take you to 100K a month. Like, obviously, I can't say because I haven't gone there, but it's just become like so ridiculously simple and something that I'm just trying to do in general, in life, and of course with the business. It's just being a lot more focused and just super like dialed in. My focus has kind of been everywhere because I just have a lot of stuff going on in my life. But at the end of the day, I gotta prioritize like, what do I need to do for this? What do I need to do for this? Because obviously I have goals in my life outside of just the business. But with the business, being towards the top of the list, that priorities. But now that I understand for the business, all I have to do is this, right? I don't need to spend all this time watching these YouTube videos, blah, 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 whatever it is. Obviously, you can get information from those, but like with the business, I just need to focus on these ads, right? Or with like the gym, I just need to focus on, I literally put that in here, tracking my food, getting my steps in, progressive overload, pushing to failure, and just getting enough protein in. It's that simple, right? I just have to eat good food and train hard, right? And then I have a couple other things here, like getting closer with God is like if I'm praying every day, reading the Bible every day, and actually like studying it, whatever it is, every day, then within a matter of time, I'm gonna get closer to God, right? It's like there's a very simple formula to it. And the hard part about everything is just holding yourself accountable and being consistent. I think I don't really have a problem so much with consistency, especially on the business side of things. Some other aspects of my life, I do struggle a little bit more with consistency. But with the business, with ecom, I have no problem with consistency. My problem is just actually like the amount of focus, like my focus just leaking into other places. And um like my focus leaking and then just not being super intentional, because when your focus isn't, when you're not focused, you can't really be intentional because you're not really fully locked into what you're doing. So, moral of the story, moral of this video being, if you're in ecom, just focus on fucking ads. Outside of ecom, just break it down to the simple like inputs that you need to make to get to your goal or to be better it is at whatever it is you're pursuing. And in a matter of time, if you just actually do those full force every single day, like, just taking it head on, then within a matter of time, you're gonna reach all of those goals. It's inevitable, right? It's like, it's literally a simple, very simple formula, right? Like, if you, what's it called? They say that 80% of your results come from 20% of your inputs. So if that's the formula here, that means for you to get significant results, you have to do significantly more inputs behind the scenes to get those results, right? Because that's like what's the ratio on that? That's like a 1-to-4 ratio. So for like every one win equals like 4 failures, essentially, in a sense, right? I don't know if the math works, but I kind of like how that sounds, right? So it's like if I have to fuck up 4 times for me to get one big win, right? That means right, 20% of your inputs, right? 80% of your outputs. So yeah. So so if I want to win 10 times, that means I gotta fuck up 40 times. You know what I mean? So you should be focused on fucking up, or not necessarily fucking up, but just doing as much as you can at the highest quality you can. So then eventually that 20% or whatever it is so significant, so large that you're just like blowing your goals out the water, bro. I don't know. I just felt super, super drawn to make this video because like I'm just ready to just like go fully head on. We're 20 days or 19 days into, almost 3 weeks into the quarter two. And I just have not been nearly as focused, as dialed in as I should be. So I really took today as like a day to not only work, of course, but to just focus on being more dialed in. Literally just like, how can I make my life more productive? How can I actually reach my goals, bro? A lot of these people kind of make fun of like the whole morning routine thing, the waking up at 5 a.m., cold shower, blah, blah, blah. But I definitely would say that I was like the most dialed in, the most focused when, I think this was before I started YouTube, I think. But from the months of September to through New Year's, September, whatever it is, 1st to January 1st, like that's when I was like the most dialed in. It's because I was just very, very strict about everything that I was doing. Like that's when I was spending, 10, 12 hours a day working, still going to the gyms, tracking my food every day, making sure I'm reading my Bible every day. Just everything was like to the T, just locked in, dialed in, like no distraction. Like I was super strict, like no women, no going out, no none of that, like super locked and dialed in. And then I kind of had to take a step back because, you know what I'm saying, just you can't kind of maintain that forever. But then even more recently, probably like a month ago, I noticed that when I started waking up earlier, waking up at like 8 a.m., 8:30, and just starting my day and then like getting all my work done before I even like leave the house, I would wake up at like 8 o'clock, 8:30, and then by like 12 o'clock, 12:30, I'll be done with like 60, 70% of my day. And it's just because when you wake up and like you start off your day just focused, like you're immediately focused, you know what you need to do and you're gonna go do it, and like you're not starting off your day doom scrolling. I'm not gonna lie, starting your day off doom scrolling might be the worst thing you can do. I saw somebody say that like you win the day at the beginning of the day. If you can start off your day by just getting out of bed and like praying, getting to the work, whatever it is, reading, whatever it is you have to do, journaling, etc. And then like guaranteed the rest of your day is gonna go so much better. And like if you can get a bunch of like the hard shit out in the morning, um, that isn't, I guess, I mean, it depends on your schedule, of course. But if you can get just a bunch of your like the stuff you don't want to do out of the way in the morning, then the rest of the day you can be like, not necessarily chill, but like you just have a lot more clarity knowing that like, okay, now I just got to focus on doing one, two, three things later. It is later in the day, blah, 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 whatever. And it just gives you the time to actually, live life, right? Um, this is probably going to be one of my longer videos because I'm kind of ranting here, but there's something I'm just like feeling like super passionate about right now, bro. Like, I just want to be more productive. I just want to make the most like out of every minute I live. Um, and I feel like that's one of those problems that I have where I'll have like a month or two where I'm super just dialed into absolutely everything. And then I'll have like 1 week where, this happened recently, like literally like 2, 3 weeks ago. That's why I'm trying to really get myself back in the zone now, is where I'll be super, super dialed in. When I tell you like unshakable focus, and then that focus gets shooken a little bit. And then getting yourself back on that horse is so much harder. And I think it's kind of like the analogy of the dude who's pushing up the boulder up the hill, right? If you're pushing up the boulder up the hill, that's already a hard task to do, right? But if you get some momentum while you're doing it, you're pushing and you're kind of like starting to, pick up some momentum. You're kind of like jogging while you're pushing it up, right? Then it's going to be easier to keep that ball rolling, ball rolling, ball rolling. But if you decide to take a break, right? Then and just like stop, you're just holding like this, then getting it back up and getting that momentum back up again is going to be 10 times harder than just keeping the momentum rolling. So that's a problem that I keep running into my life, is where I'll have 2, 3 months where just super dialed in, like momentum is rolling, balls rolling, I'm just going, going, going. And then I'll let my focus get shaken for a couple of days, a week, 2 weeks, however long. And then getting back to pushing that boulder up the hill, which at this point in my journey, I'm not at the point where the ball is rolling down. You know what I mean? I'm not at the point where I'm still, somewhere halfway up the hill, just pushing, pushing, pushing. So, I just can't let that happen. But I also think, and bro, I could honestly make multiple videos on this, but I also think a reason that is that I think I kind of have like an unhealthy relationship with like enjoying life, because I'll go during those 2, 3, 4 months where I'm super locked in. Like when I say locked in, like I mean that, mentally, but also like physically. Like I won't be letting myself enjoy anything. Like I'll be neglecting taking care of myself, whatever it is. Not like not showering and shit. I'm not like dirty or nothing, but like when it comes to like getting haircuts, getting my hair done, or like buying new clothes, etc., whatever it is, stuff that like makes you feel good externally, or is just like nice externally, whatever it is, or even just like going out and like enjoying relationships with people, stuff like that. I'll like completely like neglect that part of my life. And then when I introduce that part of my life back into, back in, then it kind of throws me off, because like the pendulum completely swings, right? Um it's like one of those what's it called, those balancing things, right? So it's like I'll be completely just down, whatever it is, this side is completely like all the weight is on this side, this is like work, blah blah blah, whatever. And then once I allow a little bit of, me going out, me doing whatever it is, it like, the weight goes here, now it's like this, whatever it is, kind of swinging, shaky, whatever it is. And then maybe sometimes I let it go this way, this the way, whatever it is. And then for some reason I decide, it's just like, you know what, I'm not going out no more, which is unrealistic. Especially, I'm saying the weather's getting nicer. It's April now. It's going into the summer and everything like that. I have plans to travel, a bunch of stuff that's gonna happen this summer, where it's basically going to be impossible for me to neglect that side of my life. And if I don't learn how to manage both properly, then it's just going to completely, you know, throw off, what I got going on. So I think that also plays a part into it. And what's funny is I'm one of my first videos on here is me talking about the 80-20 business life balance, but that's still something I'm working on. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna cut this off here because this is already a 20-minute long video. I could really go on probably for twice as long about this, but moral of the story, moral of this video is it is very, very simple. I'm saying to reach our goals. It's just about becoming the version of yourself who's capable to show up every day and give his all every day, regardless of how he feels, regardless of the external circumstances, what's, being detached from the outcomes, but completely just locking in on the inputs required to get himself there. If you made it this far, which I doubt any of y'all did, but if you did make it this far, thank you for watching. Discord's in the bio, or not in the bio, in the description. Join that up. We're at like 350, 360 members in there. My Instagram's down there. My Twitter's down there. Make sure to go check those out. And God bless you and whatever it is you're pursuing. Thank you for watching this video. I'm going to catch you on the next one.